Next year's presidential race in the US is changing gears. The 2024 presidential campaign is taking shape by the week as more candidates join in or others bow out. But as the world's most developed country prepares to elect its next president, few of the presidential hopefuls are facing the heat of allegations against them, which might eventually hamper their presidency bid altogether. In a short while from now, former US President Donald Trump is scheduled to appear at a Miami federal court. He is facing criminal charges of unlawfully keeping national security documents even after leaving the White House and then lying to the officials who tried to retrieve them. Now, the local law enforcement authorities are on their toes. Security outside the courthouse has been tightened in anticipation of throngs of protesters and supporters.
We are working very closely with our federal, state, and local partners to make sure that we have a comprehensive approach. We're bringing enough resources to handle crowd anywhere from 5,000 to 50,000.
The case marks the first time a current or former US president has faced criminal charges in a federal court. Adding to the drama, Trump was scrambling to find a qualified Florida lawyer willing to join his defense team. But to defend Trump in the case, the lawyers making an appearance with Trump will be the top former federal prosecutor Todd Blanche and the former Florida Solicitor General Chris Kise. This is according to people familiar with the matter. Now, this comes after several prominent Florida attorneys declined to take Trump as a client. And after two of the key lawyers handling the documents matter, Jim Trusty and John Rowley, resigned last week. Trusty and Rowley's departure was sudden and unexpected for Trump. But the 11th hour flurry of action to hire a seasoned trial attorney was a familiar dance for Donald Trump. He has had difficulty hiring and keeping lawyers in the past as well over the course of numerous federal and state investigations since his 2016 election as president. The former president prepares for a second arraignment this year. Earlier, Trump was arraigned in Manhattan in April on separate criminal charges related to his hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
We stand up to the open borders fanatics, the radical left.
The 2024 presidential campaign is taking shape by the week as more candidates join in or others bow out. In a short while from now, former US President Donald Trump is scheduled to appear at a Miami federal court. He is facing criminal charges of unlawfully keeping national security documents even after leaving the White House. The case has been widely documented, and Trump's problems do not seem to be finding any kind of an end.
We stand up to the open borders fanatics, the radical left Democrats, their lawless, partisan prosecutors, the prosecutors. Every time I fly over a blue state, I get a subpoena.
All right, for the latest updates, we are joined by our correspondent Susan Tehrani from New York. Susan, the charges against Trump are grave. What can one expect from the case, and how badly will it affect his presidential bid regardless of what's the outcome?
Yeah, these are very serious charges. Some of them carry up to 20 years of prison sentencing if the former president is charged. However, on the one hand, really today's hearing is more procedural. So we're not going to really know much about what's going to happen. On the other hand, this case could go to trial well after the 2024 U.S. presidential elections or in the heart of the 2024 election cycle and election campaign. So, it's very important to note that on the one hand, his supporters are backing him. They will be voting for him no matter what. But on the other hand, we'll have to see how it affects independent voters' choice, because two things can be right at the same time. One, that Donald Trump really mishandled documents. But on the other hand, there are two cases of there's a two-case justice system going on. For example, for President Biden, former Vice President Pence, and also Hillary Clinton as well. This is when she was Secretary of State, and then Donald Trump, being the first president for doing somewhat the same thing and being charged. So we'll have to see the impact. It could go to his favor or it could go against him. But one thing is for sure, he's going to continue campaigning. Right after this hearing, he's going to head back to his golf course in New Jersey for a fundraising speech.
Right. Thank you for the inputs, Susan. That was Susan Tehrani, our correspondent, joining in from New York.